Hey, Nick, it's me again, Vesper. And I want to talk about that poll again. So I've been spending the last few days looking through this, through your numbers, your methodology, particularly what CTV put on millions of television sets and computer screens. I also looked into what you personally told viewers when you were being interviewed on this by people like CTV. And then I went back and I read the standards of the organization that you once chaired. And that's where I began to have a problem. And I'd like you to help me with this. So for everybody that doesn't know what I'm talking about the CRIC. What is it, you might be wondering? The CRIC is the Canadian Research Insights Council. It's the research industry's self-regulatory body in Canada. It was created in August in 2018 after the previous National Research Association, the MRIA, went basically bankrupt. Then in 2019, the CRIC, the agency that I'm going to be talking to Nick about here, released the Public Opinion, Research Standards, and Disclosures. And Nick, where were you in all this? Weren't you chair of the CRIC's Research Standards Committee when these standards were being introduced? Didn't you later become chair of the board for the CRIC in 2022? And I know you remained chair until 2024, and you're still there. You're just not the chair anymore. So I have two questions for you. The first one is what came from what you told CTV directly. Just watch.
I was quite surprised because, you have to think of it this way. Pierre Poilievre's at 15% in terms of 15% of Canadians thinking that he could defeat or had a chance to defeat Mark Carney. Conservative support is about twice that, which means that half of the conservative support, like people who would put conservative signs on their lawns, don't even think that Pierre Poilievre has a chance to beat Mark Carney.
Now, just so we're clear, I'm going through your own standards from the CRIC, okay? We will not knowingly make interpretations of research results that are inconsistent with the data available, nor will we tacitly permit such interpretations. So what did you do? How does it mean that? Isn't your 15% a percentage of all Canadians answering that one question? And isn't conservative ballot questions coming from a totally different questionnaire? So where's the data showing how conservative support and supporters answered that question in your poll? Where's the crosstab? Now, question two. What did CTV tell its own viewers before you even answered anything?
New polling commissioned by CTV News asked Canadians which high-profile conservative could defeat Prime Minister Mark Carney. And Nanos research found that the top choice was none of them at 33%. The closest contender, former Prime Minister Stephen Harper at 16%, followed by current Conservative leader Pierre Poilievre at 15%.
What do you think that sounds like to a normal viewer, Nick? Doesn't that sound like first place, second place, third place, last place? And this is where I'm having a problem. Wasn't your questionnaire a multi-response questionnaire? Didn't your own report disclose that respondents could provide multiple answers? And weren't these percentages able to overlap on one another? Because then the host turned to you and said,
all right, no conservative currently poses a challenge to Mark Carney. What does that suggest to you?
Well, I think what's clear is that there aren't people clamoring to run against Mark Carney right now. The fact that 1 out of every 3 Canadians said there is not a conservative who can defeat Mark Carney at this point in time is quite striking. And Pierre Poilievre is tied with former Conservative Prime Minister Stephen Harper. So,
Nick, why didn't you correct them? Why didn't you say, hold on, these aren't exclusive choices? Doesn't Section ID3 say members will correct factual misrepresentations or distortions of data or analysis, including those made by their sponsors or clients? And doesn't it say that if the distortions happen publicly, the correction by you should also be made publicly in a similar form as possible? Who commissioned this poll? CTV. And if you don't believe what they did was accurate, then where's the correction? Section 2.4 goes even further, though. Doesn't it say that you can't tacitly permit an interpretation inconsistent with the data either? I mean, Nick, look, I'm not an adjudicator for the CRIC. I will be filing a formal complaint with the Canadian Research Insights Council regarding your interpretation of this poll and your failure to correct CTV and the way that they presented this. I will be asking the CRIC specifically to examine Section 2.4 and Section ID3. You can answer both these questions in the comments and explain to me how you get around those two rules in your standards given what I just showed everybody and showed you and explained. I would appreciate that. Thank you very much.